Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Velero community meeting for Tuesday, August 25th. I will be your host since Jonas is on PTO. Going to go ahead and get started with the status updates again. So looks like first on our list, we have Stephanie.
Hi everyone. So I just want to mention again that we will be building the priority stack rank list for the 1.6 release, performing the planning with the team this week. After we've completed that, we'll publish the list in the form of a prioritized backlog with the 1.6 milestone attached to it to our GitHub so that you can filter against that milestone and take a look at what we have planned. We do encourage, as we move forward with this type of process and continue to grow it, that the community engage with the upvote downvote feature on each of the issues to let us know, what's most important to you. And as we progress with the releases heading into 1.7 in Q1 2021, we should be able to publish these prioritized lists much earlier so that we can get your feedback in even sooner. That's it for me.
And Stephanie, where will this be published? Will it just be published in ZenHub? Will it be published in a document?
We'll include it in ZenHub, and for those that don't have the plugin, we will be publishing it as a documented stack rank. And I'll also make sure that the 1.6 milestone is included on the epics as well as the associated stories so that folks can filter on the PRs that way.
Cool. And if you don't have the plugin, ZenHub has a straight web app view too, so you can go to the web app and it will present things that way.
I'll update the notes with some of those links, Nolan.
Cool, thanks. Any questions? Any other questions for Stephanie? Okay, next we have Ashish.
For me, I'm on community support this week, but I don't have pretty much as status updates. I've been doing like miscellaneous work for like the 1.5 release. The pre-release is out, so please do try it out in your non-prod environments and give us some feedback there. There was a bug that we noticed when we cut the release with the server version not being correctly displayed as the output of Velero version. So I had a fix out for that. And then some documents that we published needed updating. So I was doing that. And other than that, I was reviewing PRs and getting them merged and also testing out the release to make sure we have everything working as expected. So if you've had a chance to try out our releases, our pre-releases, we would love to hear from you. Other than that, I don't have any other status updates.
Okay, any questions for Ashish? All right, moving on to Carlisia.
Hello. Excuse me. I was on community support last week, did some work, prioritized some work related to the 1.5 release as well. The server status request PR has gotten reviews and they addressed everything. There is great suggestions from Ashish to make the patching of status or patching of objects genetic helper functionality. And I have been working on the download request, and I did that in that code, and I really like the way it looks. And I used the helper from the, what was it again? I forgot.
Cappy.
Cappy, thank you, because I always take cluster API, a builder, okay, Cappy, So I use their function. If anybody objects, let me know, but it looks really good. Basically, you do a defer patch and then do all the setting of what updating, and it looks really clean. And what else? So I do have some refactorings. I'd rather push that PR because it's pretty much ready. It works. And then I'll rather do an update for that separately because I'll have to update the backup storage location as well. So maybe I will even do that separately. But I'll push the download request first to see if that's what we want. I hope that made sense. I don't know. I haven't had enough coffee yet.
Yeah, that seems fair. That seems reasonable to me. Yeah, that's cool.
And I think depending on how fast the PR turns around, I think we'll be able to include the download request migration in the final release. I'm hoping for that anyway. So I'm trying to push that through.
Yep, I think the surface area for that is pretty small, and we can test that out really well.
Yeah,
we have good amount of time, so we should be able to include it in the release.
it's pretty easy to test, that's for sure. Just the things download or not.
Cool. Any more questions for Carlisia? All right. For my update, released the 1.5 beta, 1.5.0 beta Friday. We did it right along with the rest of the core maintainers so they can kind of see the process. I've got some PRs related to that process that are up. We noticed some bugs in the scripts that needed to be fixed. So hoping to get those in by GA so that process can be a little bit less bumpy. And trying out the beta to make sure we've got our T's crossed and our I's dotted, that kind of thing. But as Ashish said, please try it out in your environments. We've got the defaulting or enabling restic support for all volumes. So you don't have to annotate individual volumes if you want to get restic support. Got the delete item action support, and we've got early preview support for restore hooks. But I owe a review for the other half of that work. So if you're interested in any of that, oh, and the ordered backup of stateful sets is also in there. So if you're interested in any of that and want to try it out in your non-production environments, please give it a shot and let us know if you find any issues. Also, like Stephanie said, we've got some planning exercises for 1.6 this week, and we'll get that published and look for feedback from the community. Yeah, getting some more reviews out in between that testing and planning. So that's kind of what I've been doing and what I'm looking to do this week. So any questions there? One more thing I'll throw out there is the 1.5 version bumps are supported, or bumps the included version of Kubernetes libraries to 1.18. That only matters if you're including Velero code in your own projects. So if you're doing compilation, then that matters. But if you're just installing Velero and using it through the command line, that's not a big deal. And then following up on that, our goal is to have the 1.5 GA release out by September 1st. So next week. we're going to be testing that and looking for feedback, and barring any showstoppers, we are going to get that release cut by September 1st. And we have our forever discussion topic, it seems, our long-term discussion topic. I can let Carlisia take this if you'd like.
Sure, I think I'm well versed now at how to go through that. Basically, we've been raising this awareness every week that Velero has a lot of public code that we never intentionally made public. So now we're trying to assess, we're not trying to assess, we're trying to move that code that's public, that's not supposed to be public, to an internal package, make it private, not accessible. And the code that we do intend to make public are listed here. And if you are using any package from the Velero project that is not listed here, please include it in this ticket or let us know in some other way, so we figure out how to make this change and not break anybody's code.
Yep. Yeah, so with that, do we have any other discussion items folks wanted to bring up that didn't get added before we started the meeting? If not, I have one. I see Fong is on the call, and I wanted to bring up, there's an action item for investigating this proposal to enhance item selection from last week. And I realize this might be complicated, so I'm just wondering what the status of this is.
Hello, sorry for the background noise.
Yeah, no problem.
I haven't, I talked to my team about what tasks we have performed on that to verify some of the items that being suggested, and my teams gave the feedback that we have tried to use the exclude resources with that's one we have tried to do that, and it didn't work for us because it's also exclude the PVC that we want, and that is not an option. And we also try the idea of include resources, and that doesn't work either, because if we use the including resource without setting the cluster resource flag, then it will not work. It will not back up any of the cluster resource. So we for the action item, I haven't had chance to work on it yet because of other higher priority at my work. So that's one I still owe it to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my update on that item.
Okay, just checking. That is a fair answer. Any other discussion topics that folks might want to bring up?
Can I ask a quick question about something that I started working on? I don't know if this is the right forum to discuss this, but I just so I've been working on issue 1780, which is to add additional printer columns for the Velero CRDs, just to try and replicate some of the information that you get from the Velero CLI whenever requesting information about the different objects that you have. So one thing that I've noticed is that for the additional printer columns, you're supposed to extract information about the object, use JSON path. But in the Velero CLI, there's processing of some of the data that happens as it's being printed, which can't be replicated with the JSON path syntax. So I was just wondering, for things like that, should we just opt to exclude them, or try best effort. I don't know, maybe this is quite a trivial question to bring up at this forum, but I figured I'd ask while I've got folks here.
So I wanted to see if we want to hold off on this until we get all our CRDs migrated to KubeBuilder, because with KubeBuilder, it is easy to add printer columns. I think carlisia added a new column for the backup storage location, and it was as simple as adding an annotation, I suppose.
Yeah. So that's what I'm currently, that's the approach that I've started doing with some of the existing ones which have already been migrated to KubeBuilder, which is using the annotation. But it's just if you want to do anything more complex other than just extracting a single piece of data. So for example, so I mentioned the expires column, which we have in Velero Get Backups. It will do some calculations and then format it into a human readable format. So if the status.expiration field isn't set, it will fall back to calculating it based on the TTL duration plus the creation timestamp, I think. And just things like that you can't really do with JSON path syntax, which is what you need to use in the KubeBuilder annotation.
I can answer that because looked into that
Awesome.
as well. I saw your question and I was going to answer, but I wanted to look closely. If this is not a duration that, because some columns, the API server calculates and just, if this is a calculation that's happening on the Velero side, you're right. We won't be able to display it. And it's fine if KubeBuilder, not KubeBuilder, if kubectl doesn't display all the columns that we display, it's fine. One way to get around that, if we really wanted to display that value, would be to add a webhook. So when that CRD, when that resource is created, the webhook would calculate that and inject that in that field on the Kubernetes side of things. But if we don't do that, then there is no way you perceived it correctly.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's good to know. Just because this is my first time working on this particular area, this type of stuff, so I wasn't sure if there was just something that I was just flat out missing. But no, that's really good information. Thank you, Carlisia. So I'll just submit anything which we can't replicate.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Cool. Yeah, I think this is a fine forum for asking these kind of questions. So
good to know. Thank you.
I also have a quick feedback on the Velero 5.1.0 beta 1. I did download the container image and try it out with my feature resource order, and it works. I have tested it, it's worked, so it's pretty good. When I try to build it with my code, I think I hit the problem. I was talking to Nolan earlier on Slack about it, so I use his Go mod to change to my Go mod file, and I hit other problems. I think I will continue working with Nolan on Slack to fix those problems. But I anticipate that other people might end up having that same problem. Is in my code, I'm using, I have a CRD, and I run code generator to generate the CLI for, the code, many of the code for that COR and CRD. And then when I do that, with previous version, I do not have any problem. But when I switch to 5.1.0 beta, and I anticipate that I would hit the same problem with 5.1.0 is that Misc is saying that the exact error is not enough argument to the client inside that being generated for that CRD, and the client is the REST client. So it looked like the do function that the version that being generated in my code do not have any parameter, but the do the ones the expected is it has in a context in the do function of the REST client. So I will put that detail in the bug that I mean on the Slack that Nolan and I are chatting. But I just want to say it here so that in case someone else may also have the same problem, we can track that problem together.
This may justify an issue. I'm not exactly sure what you're trying to do, because I'd like to see the command you're running. I thought you were simply trying to build something with the Go modules, not generating custom resources. You're generating custom resources that may have some consequences based on our switch to Cube Builder. Yeah, I see the error in Zoom chat. Let's put that in an issue, because that'll be easier to debug than in Zoom chat.
Yeah, I think we can continue on the continue to talk about in now Slack conversation, but I want to bring it so that people might have the same problem with me.
So this is an issue upgrading to the 1.18.4 client. So I can help you with this, Fong. If you want to link me to your code, I can try to help you fix this.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that context argument is, so one of the big things with moving to Kubernetes version 1.18 was all of the client libraries added a context argument to the beginning, or if they had no arguments, they gained a context argument. So the signatures changed on a lot of functions. So I'm guessing the do or the client.get, I don't know. Looking at this, I'm not sure, but my guess is there's a context that you need to pass in somewhere that just needs to be added. But yeah, that is a question that will probably come up again as people upgrade their dependent code. So we'll probably need to get some documentation out for that.
Yep, I will work with Fong to figure out what the resolution is, and once we have that, we can have that documented.
Awesome, thank you.
Yes, I will be a happy guinea pig here.
Any other topics?
Okay, if not, we'll go ahead and move on to the contributor shoutouts. First, we've got a couple that fixed some issues we found in moving to Hugo on the website. So Abby here on our docs team added some index files for our API types folder so that These will be found through the table of contents. So thank you, Abby, for surfacing those. And also Pochi, or Imran Pochi, added some missing front matter metadata to the resource filtering document so that that would properly render. So thank you. As part of the JSON logging formatting with, I believe this was with Elasticsearch, yeah. I believe Benoit? Yeah, Benoit found and fixed some logging issues with Elasticsearch. So thank you very much, Benoit. And then finally, Jen Ting fixed some documentation with the feature flag for enabling CSI. The documentation said it supported more than it did. So thank you, Jen Ting, for correcting that. And thank you to everyone who's reported issues, contributed fixes, and things like that. So one last call for anything else that folks would like to discuss on this meeting. All right, then we will give you all a half hour back. Thanks everyone for coming, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye.